Feel free to ask questions or, somebody looks like they're not busy.
Next time I'll bring an item because you have a line of speed from this you can hear on the floor.
Forgot to get the dog shot yesterday.
These guys have been a band for a long time who met here in town. Some of them grew up together in northern Maine. I just did their last record here. Well, I mixed it here at Acadia. We tracked it all over at Fort Awesome for one weekend. Used a bunch of really old mics and some really good mic pre's and stuff. We brought it in here and dumped it in and did some digital editing, and the record's gonna get released in France pretty soon, before it gets released in the US. So we've got a good thing going, so. How does the artwork fit in with the music?
Actually, those are from our CD release party last year. They're John's drawings from the album cover. We had those on either side of the stage at Space. Looked pretty cool. We gotta put the head back on this one.
We need tape.
We just do it for special occasions like the CD release party, but we'd like to do more elaborate sets. Yeah, it would be cool to eventually have like puppet shows and all kinds of things going on around us.
I love these animals, the dog and the cat as well. I don't know if they're full-time studio equipment or not, but that's awesome. And this place is great. I haven't been here in a year or so.
So you're gonna be in here, Joe's gonna be there, Sean in the corner, and Tim and Johnny over there. So you're gonna play the mode?
It's Todd's chord, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Accordion, is that in this case?
Yeah. I upholstered this myself. It's a nice favorite color. It's actually Johnny's. I borrow all of my equipment. He's had that for a while. Maybe a long time. In this case,
not my drum set, but get it to work here. I would say I didn't have the best taste in music until I started playing with these guys. There was an original drummer before me, like in the very beginning. And then Sean played drums for a while to fill in when she left. So I think I'm like the third drummer and like the sixth drummer at this point. It's actually been a very easy transition back into it. Good work. We will both play drums tonight. It's been really fun doing like a song that we haven't played for like 4 or 5 years. Like we played Hilly Town last night, which I don't think any of us have really touched that much, and it was right there.
Thank you, sir.
Enough.
One should be enough.
Ooh, a nice T-shirt. I just picked up on tape Hey Babe,
That's a
which I hadn't seen around in forever.
You got it on tape?
Yeah. I couldn't pass it up. I started playing, like 6th, 7th grade or so is when I first knew I wanted to play and get into something, and picked up a bass and started doing all that, and it's just something I just haven't stopped since then. So yeah, I feel like it's something I should be doing, especially when you find a group that you can play with and share ideas with. I don't know, it's pretty awesome. Most of us met going through the art school here in town and started playing music together. And that was, I think, just about 10 years ago now.
I think it was more than 10 years.
Is it?
Yeah, 98, right?
Yeah, that's when we started, yeah.
So
you're right.
Whenever we had non-school time together, we would be either listening to music or playing music. Actually, probably doing a lot more of that than the homework that we should have been doing for school. Music was the thing that we did together, and it's hard to even put into words. It's just a link between us. It's what I feel like I'm here on Earth to do, and it makes life make sense.
If I play this for a second?
Please do. Get one done.
Hey Tim. How's it going? Hi Johnny.
So how are you going to be set up with the accordion?
I usually just have a mic right at, like.
Can you go ahead and sit with it, and I'll figure out where this should go?
does the laundry downtown and tied up his legs with an old dressing gown that they found. Well, they stole the silver dolphin and the crown of the kings that we hid deep within the palace last spring. It was while they were running through the sunlit great hall I saw the map of Tatalura on the tapestry wall. I saw it fall. Now hold me like you always knew me, and close your eyes but look right to me. It seems as though I always knew you.
I think the first 3 or 4 years that we were playing together, we called ourselves the Ponies, and then we took a trip down to Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest Music Festival. And when we got down there, we found out there was a band from Chicago named the Ponies that was playing that festival as well. We went to their show. They had a big show. We had a small show, so we kind of figured out that they were a much bigger entity in the American music scene. A couple months down the road, they had a lawyer who sent us a cease and desist order asking us not to use that name. We opted just to change names, and after, 3 weeks of brainstorming, we hit on Phantom Buffalo.
Well, first it was Buffalo Phantoms that we picked, but that turned out to be a pee-wee hockey team in Buffalo, New York. So
Up past the white granite and higher above, to a house on the rocks where the peonies grow. I'll hold you forever and never let go.
I write the skeleton of the song, which is basically like the chord progressions, the lyrics, vocal melodies, and Tim writes a fair amount of those also. I'll bring that to the guys and see if they like it. Everyone writes their own parts, which is very exciting because I might have had an idea of what I thought it would sound like, but when I bring it to the guys, it turns into something bigger and most of the time much better than I could have imagined it being.
It's a lot of fun, and I think when people listen to us, they have fun, and I think that's really important. I like animation a lot. I do that all day. I don't leave my house very often, so this is my excuse to get out and interact with other people. I don't know, they're really creative guys, except for this guy coming in here. He went to music school, so.
Yeah, I went to music school for a year. It was definitely interesting practicing on your own and kind of learning things that way. And you kind of develop this own thing that doesn't always work with a band.
Yeah, when you started with us, when was that, like 2002?
We used to play in high school, don't forget.
We used to play together in high school. I think we started with such a loose woven fabric. You know, we didn't really have any direction to begin with in mind. It was something to do on Saturday, so it was really fun. And
It seems like right now there's such a back catalog. We could easily keep recording for a while before we would have to even start writing new material, because something like writing always seems to happen. We could probably do a couple more albums worth of material if we could afford it or needed to or anything along that lines. Over the course of just working through the material, it seems to just songs that were important at one point might fall to the wayside, or it just seems to kind of like work itself out through a natural process. When we have a recording date, that seems to be, well, that's the end point for all the ideas, and they could have kept going or not. We don't know. We kind of, that becomes the document of that point in time, kind of.
Something's awful. I'll never sleep again with Mademoiselle Rousseau in her auto. 20 layers of clothes, it took a long time until I reached her lovely skin. 20 lovely flower petals shrouding her form. I fear I'll never touch them again.
Johnny used to always, for a while, recorded like all the practices, and we listened to him once in a while, but we didn't really go off those. We kind of knew how he sounded just from playing. Certain musicians, you know, will focus like on one part of a song and kind of like work out the kinks and go through songs that way, and we, I think, have a different approach and just play entire songs over and over and over until we get the feel of the whole thing.
It's called Hello, Mr. Teeth. It's about a guy who starts seeing this girl. Her dad tracks the guy down and punches him in the face and knocks his tooth out. And then the girl breaks up with him because he has no front tooth.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is the first you're all learning of this, what the song is actually about?
I didn't know.
The first we've ever paid attention to it, I guess.
At first, it's definitely very unnerving to be in the studio. You know that somebody's kind of listening to every little sound you make. You're much more nervous about making mistakes in that setting. In a live show, there's generally just so much noise going on. Little things kind of go under the radar and just wash in. Knowing that it's going to be permanent kind of makes you want to get it just right, which kind of makes you not play as good at the same time.
It's because of his broken tooth. She's left him all alone, all by himself. It's because of his broken tooth. She's left him all alone.
That's it. That's what the song's about. Except I left out one part there. He has become a hermit up in his attic bedroom and only talks to the pigeons that live on the roof. And he's named them Harry, David, Lucy, and there's a little baby pigeon, Sue. And the guy covers the whole song.
That song's pretty old, huh?
It is. First of all, it is a very old song.
I seem to remember that from Skinny Days.
Yeah, that's when we debuted it back then. We attempted to record it in like 2003?
2004. It was right before our tour.
Yeah. I think we didn't quite get the right take and we didn't have enough tape. It just became a live song. We have a live radio version of it from back then. It's just kind of something that has stuck with us, but we never recorded it.
It's the center of what I am. It's like my gentle mother.
A lot of people consider them to be sort of more of like an indie rock band, but they're much more rooted in like traditional, sort of like 60s throwback style stuff, but a lot more creative, I guess. I really like the record a lot. I think it's a lot different than what they've done before. You know, it's much more of a psychedelia record than the last couple of records that they've done.
For the first album, we thought of a city that had kind of been demolished and had things growing up out of it, and you know, it was the ruins of an old city.
Hearing that whole album together for the first time really gave us some kind of idea of maybe where those songs were created. If they came from somewhere completely fictitious, where would they be?
We did a quick little sketch of what we wanted it to look like first. Then we really sat down with a big piece of Bristol board, a big piece of heavy paper, and worked on it one by one. That was the way we did the first one and the second album.
Well, I'd heard nothing that I had done before sounding so good coming back to me. A lot of the stuff that we were coming up with on our own, outside of Shishi Moo Moo and all that beginning, was a lot of similar ideas anyway. So I think a lot of those drawings and stuff came out of what our own interests were.
But so we've been talking about for a while now, like just doing a collection of drawings together to make up a book or something. It's just a different side of the same thing that we do. Yeah. It feels very similar.
Well, the songs you write are really visual and narrative, so it kind of instills a lot of cool imagery. You know, it's like easy to come up with really great imagery from those songs and kind of work from
same with you. I mean, I think
I just copy what you do. I mean, I raid your room and pick out your old ones.
Wait a minute.
I do.
I think Tim's songs really influence me, and he said my songs influence him, so I don't know where they're coming from, but they seem to be informing each other. They're coming from Phil. Yes, Phil. Yep.
Right here. Philip Willie.
There he is.
Thank you.